For 75 cents, you can own the city's premier tabloid newspaper, and for 20 more, you can be editor-in-chief. Me, I'm a reporter, and it's another dog day at the New Arus Chronicle.
File cabinets of unequal size occupy the corner of the office. They are the mantelpiece for a variety of soda and beer cans, as well as the occasional magazine scrap. A letter knife sits on top of the small filing cabinet. You slip the letter knife into your pocket and hope you won't trip. The wood-paneled desk is a familiar scene of chaos. This laptop is the editor's best friend, always on the run and never grows weary of having its buttons pushed. There are better ways to get fired. More mousse than hair, more sweat than deodorant. Hallmags is a man of many shortcomings. You attempt to talk to your boss.
What are you, stupid? I don't want to see you until you hand me both stories.
The unframed poster shows crashing waves on a tropical beach. The curl of the corners seem to follow the waves onto the shore. The armless chair does not seem particularly comfortable. The ceiling fan mixes a gentle breeze into the room's stagnant atmosphere. However, if it wasn't for the assistance of the sun, the glow of the overhead lamps would barely be able to display the interior. Stacks of newspapers and magazines line the office walls. The tops of the stacks display either a smiling Hallmags or some articles written about him. The papers from a few years back show a thinner but equally bald chief. The blinds afford a view of the rest of the newspaper office. Nary a detail passes the attention of the watchful editor. The space beyond the door leads to your personal cubicle and the receptionist's desk that precedes it. Your colleague Doug appears to be relaxing on the couch.
Hey, heard you're getting chewed out by Mr. H again. Well, it's almost a full moon. You've got to expect a little insanity around here. Which reminds me, there's supposed to be a lunar eclipse coming up in a few days. You know, I've never actually seen one. Not true. I found a nice little place a couple miles away from here. If you want, I can take you along. Not a bad idea.
This is a relic of the hover furniture fad. These units have largely been recalled after studies indicated unpredictable chemical emissions from the levitation mechanism. An alternative mechanism is used here, the phone directory. The green file cabinet bears the fine dents of misuse. The white halogen filaments spotlight the rug's thread. Behind the constellation of holes lies Hallmag's unaffected sneer. The dartboard has seen altogether too much use. Holes reside in every aspect, including the bullseye. You take your set of lucky darts. Custodial services frequent these parts only once a week. Several notices are tacked to the board for all to ignore. The patched, threadbare seat cover is testimony to your dedication. The well-annotated monitor is the center of your work and ophthalmic deterioration. A small audio-only answering machine sits on your cluttered desk. Even though the little light is not blinking, you check for messages but find none. This little bookshelf holds texts you purchased throughout college. You never had the heart to get rid of them, and occasionally they are of some use. A collection of pens, coffee mugs, and loose papers clutter your desk. A notepad sits between the monitor and the cubicle wall. You grab a pen and your notepad for the upcoming interview with Victor Ambrose. The Formica marble finish adds luster to the particle board desk. This is the nerve center of the newspaper. Hillary arches over her paperwork. She smiles at you as you approach.
He must be in a good mood. He didn't yell at you. Did he give you another crappy assignment this time? I can't understand it. Just a couple of years ago you broke that big story about Steve Lawson embezzling police money. And what happens? Holmegs follows it up with another crappy assignment? You were the hottest commodity. Tim, that's not nice. Bye. Oh, and Tim, lighten up. I'm sure the rest of the day will turn out great.
The strange thrust and movement suggested by the piece summarily misdescribes its surroundings. An oval projection of the globe falsely implies the scope of this newspaper. Below, a sign reads, New Aris Chronicle. The window affords a view of the inside, which is as cluttered as the non-scrutinized sections. The heavy pavement slabs bear water damage common to most of the structures in the area. The yellowish lighting from inside the newspaper office stains the uneven surface. A deterrent for those who find the sidewalk a convenient shortcut for turning the corner. Holmag's pride and joy, and the object of everyone else's envy. A stocky-looking man is trying to pry open the door to Holmag's car with a crowbar.
What's your problem, pal? Yeah, well, I'm doing fine on my own.
A large satellite dish occupies the rear. Beyond it lies buildings of condemnation and prevalence, but a light smattering of smog obscures any distinction between them. A blue van is parked outside the neighboring building. It has been there for the past few days and shows no sign of moving. A red canopy shelters the entrance to the nearby office block. City regulations mandate fire hydrants every 25 yards of pavement. You take the subway to the Ambrose Foundation,